We should be live. Let me just double check. We are live. What's going on, guys? It is the TDG2000 here, and today we will be going through our Season 2 intel, which we got 42 of them, which is a lot less than we got in preseason and Season 1, so, you know, that's good. We don't have too much to go through today. I have had all the intel for a while now. I've just been lazy. It's really, it's kind of hard to sit down and want to sit and read everything. Oh yeah, I forgot totally that the last time the declassified logs had just these two, but now we have more dates here. So we have 1983 1105, following up on our emergency briefing regarding the recent spat of outbreak zones around the world. My staff at Langley have created the CIA Office of Requiem to contain and suppress this new threat. They will deploy clandestine strike teams to cordon off outbreak zones, prevent them from spreading, and gain vital intel on the nature of the enemy. Its 4 departments will handle different aspects of the operation: field operations, weapon development, energy research, and biology. Like other clandestine operations, the Office of Requiem will officially not exist. And then we got 1984 0202. I am pleased to report my work here at Outpost 25 is yielding breakthroughs even I dared not to expect. As I predicted, Aetherium, the novel element originating from the dark ether dimension, is proving to be a remarkable source of energy that leads itself to a variety of applications. To put it in layman's terms, this stuff is the new plutonium, only better. With enough time and a lot more samples, I believe we can achieve practical limitless energy yields. This is not just an evolution of energy production, it is revolution. Alright, next up we got 1984 0618. I have completed my latest review of Omega Group operations in the Ural Mountains breach. Overall conclusion is that our efforts are proceeding on schedule and yielding tangible results. We still face a highly dangerous and unpredictable work environment, but if we are to deliver a decisive strategic advantage over the Americans and NATO, the answers will be found here. Should Requiem continue their efforts to match our Aetherium research, then let this be our battleground for the fate of the motherland. 1984 0620. Having consulted with POTUS and all appropriate NatSec stakeholders, I have officially authorized implementation of Operation Threshold. You are hereby instructed to immediately mobilize all personnel and resources necessary to support extended covert ops in the Ural Mountains outbreak zone. It goes without saying that Threshold will be Requiem's largest and most important operation to date, perhaps ever. The Ural outbreak zone represents our greatest single opportunity to pass the Soviets in Aetherium weaponry and energy production. In short time, this is where the Aetherium arms race will be won or lost. So that is all of the new declassified logs. And so let's go ahead and get on to Season 2. Also, I will do a short video probably after this. We're just missing the Apocalypse, so we'll probably have 2 of these videos today. First up is our good old buddy Requiem. We got 1 audio log, focal point. By the way, these are all from Firebase Z and Outbreak, by the way. Requiem Berlin Station Chief Mayor warns Weaver about a developing situation in the divided German capital.
Scouting several locations in the city. Objective unknown. This is very distressing, to say the least. Dr. Valentina is directly involved with Omega's interdimensional research. If she is here, expect unfortunate so far that most of Omega's operations have been in remote, rural areas. Berlin, on the other hand, is the focal point of the Cold War. The world is always watching us. If they were to launch an op here, I have a team trying to intercept your communications. I will alert you should they succeed.
Cool. And then we got our 7 documents. First up, Funding Allocation 1. Carver sends Weaver a memo regarding increased funding to energy research and unnatural sciences. Memorandum for Weaver from Carver, subject funding allocation. Weaver, I'll cut right to it. I'm concerned. Have you had a chance to review the director's latest directive on funding allocation? Because if you read between the lines, it looks to me like priorities are shifting and not in the right direction. I'm reaching out to you about his first, just in case I'm overreacting, but also because it's me and you who could end up getting screwed here. We both signed on with Requiem for the same reason, to shut down these outbreaks and use whatever we find to stay ahead of the Soviets. And yes, Strauss and Gray have contributed some valuable things to our weapons development, but now, just when my people in CS are chomping at the bit to build more Aetherium powered ordnance, the director wants to funnel more of our budget to the lab coats than to those on the front line. Check the numbers if you don't believe me. Look, we've taken a hell of a challenge with Operation Threshold. That is one massive outbreak zone to explore and pacify. We both want to give your strike team a fighting chance. Can you have a word with the director about this? I know the other departments have their place in this fight, but they are supposed to be supporting us, not the other way around. At least that's how I see it. Funding allocation 2. Strauss sends a memo to Gray regarding their increased funding. Memorandum for Dr. Gray from Dr. Strauss, subject funding allocation. My dear Dr. Gray, we don't speak often enough, but I have always sensed we have more in common with each other than the men of war we work with. So I hope you share my pleasant surprise that the director's latest funding allocation appears to place increased value on our work. This could not come at a better time, as Operation Threshold presents us with our greatest opportunities yet to advance our respective scientific disciplines. Nevertheless, I would like to urge caution as we move forward, and by that I mean caution in our interactions with our fellow department heads, Weaver and Carver. As the Americans are fond of saying, this is not my first rodeo. I have seen how military men react when they preserve that they are being shortchanged. Now more than ever, you and I need to present a united front and make good use of this increased funding while at the same time not alienating other departments. Promise them the moon if you must, but let them see us as partners rather than competitors. You should know that I have already spoken about this with the director himself. Rest assured we have his full support. While I am certain Weaver, or especially Carver, will attempt to redress this shift in priorities, I am confident the director will stay on course. He is well aware that with enough time and resources, we can unravel all the mysteries of the Dark Ether from what we are encountering in the Ural Mountains. Next up, we got the Berlin COMINT. Comment? Whatever it is. A memo from the Berlin Station Chief Mayor containing intercepted communications from Omega Group's Dr. Valentina. Memorandum for Gregory Weaver from Station Chief Berlin. Subject, Omega Group comment. Sir, I am writing to alert you that we recently intercepted communications between Dr. Alexandra Valentina of the KGB's Omega Group. Oh my god. And a suspected operative here in West Berlin. We have done our best to track her movements and activities since she arrived in East Berlin last week. While we are still trying to determine the precise purpose of our visit, the contents of this intercept support our suspicion that Omega is setting up a major operation here in the U.S. occupied sector of the city. Transcript of intercept translated from German. Valentina. Need update on site. Unknown contact. Readings confirm membrane permeable. Has date been determined? That is not up to me. Just keep your people ready to mobilize. Acknowledged. However, some starting to question if that is even possible. Eliminate the doubters. No margin for error. Ground must be prepared. Understood. We'll make example of them. Good. But do so quietly. Do not lose element of surprise. We are currently working to identify Valentina's contact, but cannot match with any known Omega or KGB asset. I will keep you advised of our progress. Heinrich Mayer, Berlin Station Chief. Next up is Operation Threshold Authorization. CIA Director Casey greenlights Requiem's operation in the Ural Mountains. For Director of Requiem from DCI Casey, subject Operation Threshold. Having consulted with POTUS and all appropriate NatSec stakeholders, I have officially authorized implementation of Operation Threshold. You are hereby instructed to immediately mobilize all personnel and resources necessary to support extended covert ops in the Ural Mountains outbreak zone. Mission parameters remain as detailed in the proposal you submitted to me. As expected, the White House main concerns is the obvious one: staging ongoing military operations in the heart of the Soviet Union risks triggering a full-scale war. However, both NATO and the USSR are driven by a mutual need to keep those dimensional incursions secret from the public. Moscow has as much to lose as we do from the global panic. We are therefore confident the Soviets will keep our presence in the Urals under wraps so long as we operate within the parameter they have established for their own covert ops. But there are limits to what each side will tolerate, so keep engagements with Omega Group to a minimum. All four of our division leads are familiar with the planned array of objectives and the material assembled to carry them out. Nevertheless, as you further your Aetherium research and collect vitally needed data on the Dark Ether dimension, there are specific priorities I wish to reiterate. Major Carver should brief all Requiem operators on best practices when hunting elite class hostiles designated as high-value targets. Likewise, make sure he prepares them for the teleportation effect associated with Aetherium crystal power nodes. Dr. Strauss must ensure all Aetherium harvester units are in working order, with updated splashdown coordinates input to the rocket guidance systems. Likewise, have him retest the Essence conversion modules. Dr. Gray should resubmit documentation that our Dark Ether specimen analyzer function as intended. If your operators are going to risk their lives defending them, they damn well better yield some useful data. Likewise, make sure she has enough live specimens for repeated tests of the Dark Ether Recon rover. There are still funds remaining in the monkey budget, should more primates be required. Finally, Special Operations Officer Weaver should undertake a thorough assessment of strike team operators to make sure they are prepared to support all research ops and, if necessary, render assistance to any science personnel in the field. It goes without saying that Threshold will be Requiem's largest and most important operation to date, perhaps ever. The Ural outbreak zone represents our greatest single opportunity to surpass the Soviets in the in Aetherium weaponry and energy production. In short, this is where the Aetherium arms race will be won or lost. Operation Threshold could be the key to the victory over the USSR, not to mention the extra-dimensional forces arrayed against us. Apologies for the granular nature of my instructions, but too much is riding on this. I'm counting on you, Director. We all are. W. Casey, William J. Casey, Director of Central Intelligence. God damn, that was a long one. I need a drink. Domino effect. A secret report listing dimensional breaches around the globe following the outbreak at Project Endstation. I think... Oh yeah, so those three were Firebase Z. Now we're on to the outbreaks. Effects. Secret report listing dimensional breaches around the globe following the outbreak at Project Endstation. originating from suspected Soviet operation in Moscow, Poland 18 hours ago. In brief, it appears the Spetsnaz covert team has somehow punched a hole in the fabric of space-time. This phenomenon is, to our knowledge, unprecedented. Our physics experts describe it as a breach in the quantum membrane separating our dimension from a parallel reality. The Morosco event remains localized, but it appears to have triggered a global ripple effect as we have detected several similar breaches around the world. The Morosco event has first detected by the satellite component of our distant early warning network created to detect ICBM launches and or nuclear detonations. Masson recorded a unique electromagnetic signature at the Morosco site, followed by similar readings in Venezuela, Namibia? I've never heard of that country. Vietnam, Azerbaijan, and Russia. Signet intercepts from local authorities describe a fast-acting plague that transforms victims into violent monsters. Infection does not follow traditional disease vectors. Instead, it appears dependent on proximity to the dimensional breach. We are currently designating these sites as outbreak zones. Details as follows. Russia, detected 9 minutes after Moscow event. The breach in the Ural Mountains is by far the largest recorded outbreak zone. Soviet response currently focuses on containment and suppression of information to prevent a national panic. Azerbaijan, detected 12 minutes after Morosco event. Much smaller than the Urals event, though located near the capital city Baku, containment and suppression efforts were swift and successful. Namibia, detected 33 minutes after Morosco event in a remote section of the Namib Desert. We have a team en route to assess the. Can you stop doing that for 1 second? We have a team en route to access the breach firsthand and anticipate useful data will be collected. Vietnam, detected 39 minutes after Morosco event in Thao Thanh Hu province. The smallest breach is in some ways the most troubling. Dimensional membrane instability in this region suggests further breaches may occur. Local authorities are teaming with Soviet assets to contain the situation. Venezuela, detected 1 hour after Morosco event, deep in the rainforest south of the Orinoco. CIA science team is en route. Further updates and recommended actions will follow as this is a developing situation. For now, we strongly urge the formation of a dedicated task force to suppress and contain hostile forces and potential spread of all outbreak zones, regardless of location. David Halpern, Director, Office of Signet Operations. So here we got the Recon Rover blueprint for the remote vehicle designed to explore dark ether dimensions. CIA SCV M7 Dark Ether Recon Rover, destination RCM DAR2, Office of Requiem DS&T, approval Elizabeth Gray, date 04/13/84. Disruptor Satellite Blueprint, design schematic for an orbital weapons platform capable of firing an energy beam into the dark ether and drawing forth its apex level threats. CIA SAT-9 Dimensional Disruptor, destination CIAR 9 DADD, Office of Requiem DS&T, approval Mackenzie Carver, date 03/08/84. Alright. Next up, we got our one radio transmission from Firebase C. Nose to nose, Berlin station chief mayor is increasingly nervous about a certain visitor to his city.
This is Maya, Berlin Station Chief. Urgent question. Did you get the memorandum I submitted on Saturday? If so, why is there still no response? Forgive me, but I do not think anyone at Langley grasps the seriousness of the situation. Dr. Valentina is here, in Berlin. The city is divided. East and West are nose to nose here. If she does something, leave the decision to you.
Berlin, huh? So we might actually be going to Berlin for the next map. Interesting. Next up is our artifacts, the Aetherium Canister. When full, these are all Outbreak, by the way. When full, this removable container from the Aetherium harvesting module must be placed on a rocket for transport out of the USSR. Aetherium Crystal Shard. This shard has broken off an Aetherium power node, one of the many large crystalline structures slowly terraforming the outbreak zone to support the hideous life forms from the dark ether. Frost Blast Container. One of several interchangeable canisters for use in the WAND weapon. Manipulates Aetherium to deliver a sub-zero blast that stops enemies cold. Alright, and that is it for that. Next up is Omega, and we got one audio log. From Firebase C, half of the reason. Kukle meets with Valentina for a secret transaction.
Is this everything? Surely there is more.
I assure you, Dr. Valentina, this is everything.
Research on membrane permutations? What about the particle distortion modules?
Everything you need on targeted dimensional breaching is there.
Отлично. Have it delivered to this address.
You're not taking it with you?
Is there a problem with my order?
No. I just thought...
Thinking is a dangerous thing, is it not, comrade? Have it delivered to the address. Make sure you are not discovered by Peck.
Believe me, he is half of the reason I'm doing this.
And the other half.
Why? For the good of the motherland, of course.
Of course. For the motherland.
Alright, then we got 3 documents. I guess all these are from Outbreak. New Frontiers. Gorev reports to Kravchenko regarding Omega Group operations in the Ural Mountains outbreak zone. Progress report. Ural Mountains dimensional breach. Colonel, I have completed my latest review of Omega Group operations in the Ural Mountains breach AO. Overall conclusion is that our efforts are proceeding on schedule and yielding tangible results. If anything, progress has accelerated since the arrival of Dr. Peck. It appears your personal reprimand had the desired result. I have never seen him more motivated to meet the goals we set for his team. We still face a highly dangerous and unpredictable work environment, but if we are to deliver a decisive strategic advantage over the Americans in NATO, the answers will be found here. Aetherium collection continues around the clock. This is by far the richest source of Aetherium crystals in the world, with new deposits forming every day. In fact, the infestation is so great we do not even have to send collection teams to the other side. I have taken steps to obscure the true levels of our group growing stockpile. If there is a leak in Omega, the last thing we want is Requiem discovering the true magnitude of what we have here. If there is any upside to the danger we face from dark ether hostiles, it is the opportunity for weapons testing. We have even recovered weaponry from some of the hostiles unique to this location. In conclusion, the Ural Mountains breach remains our most important area of operations. Should Requiem continue their efforts to match our Aetherium research, then let this be our battleground for the fate of the motherland. Gorev, Spetsnaz Grupa Omega. Omega Staffing Report. Shortly after assuming command of the Omega Group, Kravchenko informs his superiors of his choices for Omega leadership roles. Omega leadership appointments. Author Colonel Lev Krevenchenko. 9 days ago, the chairman of the Committee for State Security tasked me with revitalizing Spetsgrupa Omega. Today, after consultation with comrades Andropov and Chebrikov, I have prepared the named key personnel to lead Omega Group's military and scientific operations. My right-hand man Gorev will serve as tactical operations lead during active measures, ensuring our unit's performance is not just up to Spetsnaz standards, but up to my standards. Omega's original focus on superstitions and old wives' tales made these operations soft. Gorev will burn all softness out of them. Assisting him with the Captain Sergei Revnov. Assisting him will be Captain Sergei Revnov. Whose sterling service record should calm the fears of any apparatchik with misgivings about Comrade Gorev. As for Omega stated missions to identify, study, and weaponize so-called exoscientific phenomenon, I have chosen trusted experts to assess the validity and practicality of such a focus. If they say we can realistically deliver a counterpunch to Reagan's Strategic Defense Initiative, so be it. If not, I will request this unit be liquidated and the men reassigned. Dr. Alexandra Valentina has already assumed leadership of our psychotronic phenomenon research, the study of extrasensory perception, telekinesis, pyrokinesis, and so on. For the last 8 years, Omega Group failed to verify the existence of such abilities, much less harness them. In addition to having a background in hard science, Comrade Valentina is a straight... Can you stop that? In addition to having a background in hard science, Comrade Valentina is a straight talker and a Soviet. If Omega is a waste of resources, she will give me the unvarnished truth. Finally, Dr. William Peck from Americans Weapon Research Organization DARPA will serve as exoscientific phenomenon research lead. Peck will develop military applications for Aetherium. Comrade Chebrikov tells me there was some pushback to this choice. After all, if Peck betrayed his own country, why wouldn't he sell us out as well? Rest assured, I have contingencies in place if Peck ever thinks of betraying me. I have issued a general order to scour all records since the creation of Omega Group in 1975. Surely, something usable, something of worth must have been found in all that time. Colonel Lev Kravchenko, Commanding Officer, Omega Group. Oh my god, these are so long. This is why I push it back sometimes, because reading all this shit's kind of wild. But you know, I'm fucking one of those die-hard Zombies fans. I'm a very hardcore Zombies fan, and I've always been very, you know, into the storyline no matter what it is. So, you know, I love reading this intel. It's just, sometimes it's a lot. Omega Records Review. Valentina writes a report to Kravchenko detailing key operations from the early days of Omega Group. Omega Group Records Review. Author Dr. Alexandra Valentina. Summary. Omega's central database archives confirm the main operational focus was to gain a scientific understanding of psychotronic abilities like biocommunications and bioengenetics, then instill those abilities in our covert objects. Obviously, being able to read minds or dominate the wills of others would have great utility in espionage and covert operations, though they never determined a scientific cause for extrasensory abilities. They did conscript a handful of Russian nationals with genuine talent and trained them as intelligent assets. Alas, their gifts were impossible to reproduce, and all such assets were either killed in action or suffered physiological breakdowns that rendered them useless for continued service. Still, the work showed promise. 10 April 1976, a suicide bomber attempting to enter the Soviet embassy in Ho Chi Minh City was sent by an Omega Group asset on site. The terrorist was stopped and detonated at the gate, saving countless lives in the compound. 29 June 1976, East Germany hosted a multilateral multilateral conference for European Communist parties. A mind-reading Omega asset learned several representatives from Soviet satellite states were uniting to extract concessions from the Kremlin. Omega units quietly rounded up the diplomats' families in their home countries, ending the incursion. Stop. Ending the incursion before it started. 7 April 1978. Following a remotely placed suggestion by an Omega biocommunications asset at our embassy in Washington, U.S. President Carter suspended production of their neutron bomb. 28 April 1978. A clairvoyant Omega asset helped the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan assassinate the Afghan president. The asset experienced a mental breakdown and had to be liquidated as she attempted to defect at the British consulate at Kabul. There was also indications in the records of Omega's involvement in several high-profile assassination ops in March, May, and October of 1981. All assets involved were liquidated after Comrade Brezhnev's untimely death in 1982. My review has so far been limited to the central database of the KGB mainframe. Other records deemed too sensitive for the party leadership were sent for storage elsewhere. I am certainly piecing together the chain of custody on some of those items. Dr. Alexandra Valentina, psychotronic phenomena recently. Alright, we got one radio transmission. The Colonel. Omega Group's leader gives Peck one final chance to redeem himself.
Dr. Beck, do not speak. I have no stomach for excuses. Just listen. Outpost 25 has fallen. You failed me. Ever meet anyone else who failed me? Damn yes. They are all dead. However, we are receiving your research. That is the only reason I wouldn't do. Overlook your transgression. But you will make it up to me. The Americans and their requiem pose a threat to our operations. You get one more chance to keep us ahead of me. One. And you will deliver. Now, forget about requiem. Goryev will handle them. And their whole. Personally. You will focus on your work. Give me something to show Moscow we are not wasting their resources. Kravchenko out.
Okay. And we got two artifacts. Kravchenko's knife. The Colonel preferred method of getting someone's attention. Omega Group patch. Worn proudly on the shoulder of every Omega Group operator. Next up is Maxis. More bad news. Ravenov warns of expanded Omega Group activities in Russia's Ural Mountains. Firebase, by the way.
It is not fun being on the run, but you know that better than anyone. I have news. Bad news. Omega's operations are expanding rapidly, in the way we feared most. We have noticed an uptick in activity deep in the Ural Mountains. More people coming in every day. There's talk of a special operation. As I said, bad news.
Okay, and we got two documents. Maxis status report. Weaver updates the senior staff regarding the condition of Maxis following the events at Outpost 25. Ooh, I'm actually excited for these. I want to know what Maxis is doing. Memorandum for Carver. Who's... Oh, Carver, Gray, Strauss... Oh yeah, Carver, Gray, and Strauss. Okay, I was confused by the Carver, Mackenzie, Gray, Elizabeth, Strauss. I can't remember Strauss' first name. Anyways, From Weaver Gregory, subject Agent Maxis. I know you all have your hands full right now, sifting through the intel recovered from Operation Lost Property in Vietnam, but you have each inquired separately about the welfare and whereabouts of former BND agent Samantha Maxis, so I want to share our initial assessment of her condition. Immediately following our extraction from the Dark Ether, Agent Maxis was evacuated by our strike team, placed under medical supervision, and transported directly to Rec Room headquarters. Preliminary physical and psychiatric evaluations were performed en route. She was found to be surprisingly good physical condition considering her ordeal in the other dimension. While we estimate she spent roughly 48 hours there, Agent Maxis claims she was missing for many months. Psychological and metabolic data support her claim, but further details are slow in coming due to post-traumatic stress issues and apparent gaps in her memory. We will continue to monitor for indications of brain damage. I ordered her confined to quarantine suite, where she will remain until further notice. Though she was operating in an unsanctioned capacity, she is not to be considered a prisoner. However, we need to know what Maxis learned about the other side and will secure her cooperation personally. For the time being, only myself, the director, and Requiem medical staff will have access to Maxis as we continue running tests on her. All data and findings will be shared with you as I deem appropriate. I will permit you to interview her when conditions allow. Until then, focus your efforts on the intel from Omega Outpost 25 and its implications for future operations. Weaver. Maxis diary entry. Maxis describes a dream she had while recovering in quarantine. Sometimes I find it hard to sleep. Even though I look forward to it, when I dream, I see faces. Faces of people I care about, and faces of people that don't care for me. Sometimes it's hard to distinguish between the two, but one face stands out from all others. The face of a boy. Yo! This might be Edward. This might be Edward. This might be Edward Richtofen right here. The face of a child, a boy. He is lost, damaged. I want to help him, but somehow I feel that he is dangerous. Dreams are unreliable witnesses, as too am I. Sometimes I find it hard to sleep. That may be Edward Richtofen. That may be Edward Richtofen. Just maybe. What other boy child do we know of in this universe that was near Maxis? It literally could only be Edward. That's crazy. That's crazy. Alright, so we got 2 radio transmissions, both from Firebase. Oh yeah, those were Outbreak as well. A Tangled Web. I have written these names over and over.
I tried to write it down. Oh, but the words still escape me. I see what I have written, but I barely recognize it. My name is Maxis. Samantha Maxis. This I know. I was on a mission. I am still on a mission. Rather not. Weaver. I have reviewed these names over and over. They must be important, but not as important as Endstation. What a tangled web. I know I seek Requiem, not as peace. I pray that they are the same thing.
I made a promise. I wish I could have kept you safe.
I don't know how or why, but I am remembering. I was angry before. I'm so sorry. That wasn't me. It really wasn't who I wanted to be. I made a promise. A promise I'd Anger made me do things. Things I wish I hadn't done. I may regret some, but others I meant to do. He deserves whatever damnation I have brought upon him. I hope he burns in a hell worse than mine.
Jeez, not sound happy. Alright, we got 2 artifacts from Outbreak. Endstation videotape. The video cassette tape Maxis smuggled to Weaver that triggered Rec Room's investigation of Project Endstation. I can't really read that. I don't think that's in English. Maxis BND Badge, a memento from Maxis days as an agent of the West German BND. Does it show her birthday? It doesn't. I don't know what that means. Alright, Dark Aether, we're in the final stretch. 13 more to go. Got an audio log from Firebase. Lost Souls, Fedorov, number 2. Firebase C, this place, it plays tricks on you.
Omega Group. We have been reassigned from Aetherium mining duties. Our task now falls to enemies of the state. But now they expect us to map the Dark Aether. That is what Pack calls this place. I would like to see him try to survey this madness. They've seen things out here. Speak of things. And today, push me away. Usually, large groups of the infected are chaotic, mindless mobs. But today, I found hundreds of them strangely grouped. And their clothing, were they uniforms? I dared not get too close, but they looked like... No. No, that cannot be right. It surely cannot be. This place, it plays tricks on you. I just need to get some sleep.
And we got some documents, a few of them from Firebase, a few of them from Outbreak. Day 6421. The stranger relates how they survived their encounter with the traitor and his gang. I must be honest with myself. I knew there would be no truce with those men. I knew it. I knew it would end in bloodshed. They stole my crucible, but they did not understand what it was. Too bad for them. I had already used it on my own weapon. 5 men, and I am still outgunned them. 5 human lives. Too easy. Why don't I feel worse about killing them? Is my humanity slipping away? Will I end up just another beast prowling this land? Day 6457. The stranger returns to their transmitter project, hoping to warn the world about the Dark Aether. Finally starting to shake off dark thoughts. Cannot allow myself to sink into savagery. This land will not break me. Technology is the key. I am only alive because I rebuilt that crucible. Must keep working. Must keep building. I will return my transmitter project. Someone will answer my calls, and I will warn the world of the threat it faces from this place of darkness. Much more to tell you. The stranger signs off, promising to return. My friend, I will share more journal entries later. I hope you have come to understand what my life has been like over here. I would not wish it on anyone. I have so much more to tell you, things I hope you will find useful in the struggles to come, but for now I must go hunt. I will contact you soon. Hello again. After a period of silence, the stranger resumes contact. Hello again, my friend. I am pleased that you are still alive and still in this fight. I know it has been too long since I last contacted you, but my years trapped in darkness taught me the value of caution, so I have been observing you and your compatriots. Please understand, I had to be sure I could trust you. What I have seen is your courage in the face of unspeakable horrors and your devotion to each other, and it has restored my faith in humanity and my resolve to defend our world. I still have many questions, but they can wait for later. Divided World. The stranger discusses the Cold War. One reason I was so wary is that I have observed how the world has changed since I was trapped here. You have come so far in so many ways, but still, I look back on the Great War against the Axis power. I remember East and West uniting against a great evil. I always thought that with evil defeated, we would all move forward together. But as the years roll by, I have watched an icy hatred split the world in two. You could utterly destroy each other now. All it takes is one careless moment. I fear nothing was learned from the war. I see a third world war in the making. I can stand by no longer. Help me save you from darkness and from yourselves. Trust me. The stranger expresses his willingness to share more secrets of the dark ether once trust is established. My friend, I see that your people have harnessed the dark powers of this place, and I turn them against the darkness itself. Your superiors may even believe they have all they need to end this conflict between worlds, and then force your human enemies to their knees. But you have only scratched the surface. I have learned things in my time here that you could scarcely believe. There is much more I can share with you, but just as I would not place a rifle in a child's hands, I must be sure I am not handing a much more destructive force to those without the wisdom to use it. May our bond grow deeper. May you truly prove worthy of my trust. More to follow. The stranger is working to establish voice communication. Communicating with you like this has meant more to me than I can say. It saved me from despair. It gave me something I thought long lost. Hope for the future. But words on a screen are not enough. I hunger for the sound of your voice. I long to speak to someone who is free of this soul-crunching place. So I am working to make this system compatible of producing sound. I may not be able to establish a two-way connection, but at the very least, I would have you hear my voice. There is so much more to tell you. Your lives may depend on it. And we got one radio transmission from Firebase. There was a woman that I met in the Cricket House. Piotr. Poor guy. Alright. Our last four artifacts. Empty Juggernog. Empty can of Juggernog, carelessly discarded by a previous Rec Room operator. Remember kids, don't litter, always recycle. Made with real eggs, Juggernog soda. Only 1,000 calories. Our ingredients: carbonated milk, powdered crocodile eggs, spinach juice, pure gumption, fortified with iron. Cymbal Monkey Toy. The adorable toy whose clanging cymbals inspire the deadly explosives. Mr. Monkey! Whoa! Ivan said. The head of the test dummy mounted in the arsenal device. Ivan is there to upgrade weapons and armor, an indispensable ally against ever-increasing odds. So I think there's actually a glitch in the game where one of the artifacts is not in. It's the collect objective where you gotta go collect the head, put it in the little container, and then defend it for like, a few minutes. For some reason, it was there. That's why I was kind of pushing it back a little bit, because I thought like some things were bugged. So yeah, I don't know why that head's not here, but if they ever do put it back, then I'll just read it out in another thing. Mystery Box Bunny, a stuffed rabbit toy of unknown origin. That thing looks fucking scary. Well, guys, that is going to do it for today. That is all 42. Well, I guess, isn't there a... I think Omega. It's in Omega, right? Well, either way, that is all 39, however much it is that, they want us to count. I don't know if the exclusive... They should just have like their own exclusive little tally right there with pre-season, season 1, season 2, and then just exclusive. But anyways, that is going to do it for me today. I'll probably restart the stream and do the apocalypse right now, but it's whatever. To you guys, I wanted to get this done, especially because season 2 Reloaded is dropping soon. So yeah, I gotta get that done. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys with the next one. Peace.